Glasgow Warrior Jordan Linac partners new signing Will Hunt in the halfbacks, the latter returning to Scotland from Portugal. Bobby Beattie and Elias Caven have significant professional experience, as does Liam McNamara, a former Australia Sevens international. Former Glasgow man James Malcolm returns from 2 seasons in America's MLR. He is on the bench tonight. Aaron Tate, likewise, a scorer of 6 tries in the sprint series. This is Heriot's first outing under their new coaching team of Edwards and Gillis. They too have a squad of some pedigree at their disposal. Cammy Fenton played professionally for both Edinburgh and Glasgow. Ronan Sadak is a Poland international, and Ian Wilson continues to excel in the back row at nearly 34 years old. In the back line, Bruce Houston has been one of the most consistent performers in this competition. Sam Pecure has bags of experience on the Sevens World Series. Fullback Dan King at the other end of the age spectrum is just 18 years old. Kay and Steele, established campaigners in midfield at this level, and Lyall Godsmark, another Sevens international, among the replacements. Well, this place is becoming a fortress for the Ayrshire Bulls. Only Watsonians have won here in the past year. The Heriots arrive in Alloway under new management. The Edwards-Gillis pairing facing the sternest possible test in this opening encounter. A trip to the lair of the champions. We are almost ready to go. Rory Campbell, clad in red, is tonight's referee. A freelance journalist when not holding the whistle. Not a crisp Friday night in Ayrshire. The FOSROC Super 6 Championship is underway at Millbrae. It's a gorgeous night for rugby. Perfect conditions for these two to make a positive start and carve out a victory in this first match of the season. Steepling box kick and a big hit, but Liam McNamara was just in the air. He was clattered by the Heriot's chasers. An early penalty.
Yeah, it's Jack Mann, Heriot's number 8, who just made the tackle a little early. McNamara knows exactly what he's doing. It's a great claim in the air. He holds himself in the air, and Jack Mann has to wait until he touches around before he makes the tackle. But I thought Heriot had managed to keep the ball in, but has he knocked it forward in the process? This could be a lucky break for Ayrshire Bulls if they've got a scrum here.
Yeah, Bruce Houston did brilliantly to tip that ball in field, but there was a teammate who just fumbled it as he went to gather the tip. And instead of a line out right on the 5 metres line, it's an Ayrshire Bulls scrum. And this is an area where the home side have enjoyed real dominance throughout their title charge last season. Had a mighty pack at their disposal.
Blair McPherson's always a threat off the back of that scrum as well if it's soloed ahead of him. Ayrshire Bulls captain and number 8.
Here comes the shunt from the pack of Bulls. And they are squeezing inexorably forwards. They've got the penalty. Linac shows and goes. Feeds Elias Caven. And the first try of the FOSROC 2022 Super 6 belongs to the Ayrshire Bulls and belongs to the elusive Elias Caven.
Well, he's a proven try scorer, Elias Caven. He's really quick, but it was a lovely piece of movement. He didn't set up initially on that short side. There's a dominant scrum from the Ayrshire Bulls, and he moves from right to left, and between McPherson and Linac, they managed to get the ball into Caven, and he had to do well to finish off as well. There's the movement off screen. He comes in, powers through the tackle, and gets the ball down. He has a knack of scoring. You can't see the movement off the camera, but he comes late and he brings Fraser Jones from the blind side to from the open side to the blind side as a defender, and then has the power to drive through. A good start for Ayrshire Bulls.
He's doubling up as the strength and conditioning coach for the Ayrshire Bulls this season. Elias Caven, experienced man in English lower leagues. First shot at goal for Will Hunt on his Super 6 debut. Back from playing top-tier rugby in Portugal. Could scarcely be faced with more difficult conversion attempts. But that is swerving beautifully through. What a strike from Hunt. What a start from the Bulls.
Yeah, you can just see the impact of poor discipline. Jack Mann's desperate to make an impact, but he was a fraction of a second too early with a tackle. And then from the resultant scrum from the knock-on, Ayrshire Bulls are clinical. They get over in that corner and kick the conversion from a touch. It's a perfect start for the home side, 7-0.
Yeah, two men with professional experience aplenty. Lyall and Cavan proving their worth to the Bulls side. And it is Lyall who clears. This is Jack Mann. High hopes for him in Scottish rugby circles. Missed a lot of the Super 6 last season through injury. And they shift it to Pecure, who gets the hand-off going. Ayrshire Bulls have conceded the penalty. And Ian Wilson, free-scoring veteran flanker. Jones. Kay stepping, fixing defenders. Covering tackle from Maguire. Houston wearing 24 today. Young Dan King. Powerful fend. And he's lost it forwards, and we will go back for that Bulls infringement. Good first attack, though, from Heriot.
It was. You can see the threat, the pause, using the short side as well as going wide. Just always changing the picture for the defence. Not rolling away as the defence from Ayrshire Bulls. And I think Heriot will probably kick this into the corner. Ruinous to see a long pass from Jed Gelderbloom, the scrum half, to Ian Wilson. So often we see that forward runner off 9 being really close, really narrow, and it doesn't engage the defence particularly well. That was a wider pass. It got Ian Wilson out towards the third defender, and that allowed Heriot some space on the outside in the next phase. But Houston chips it into touch, and that's a good touch as well. 5 metres out from the line.
He's an accomplished playmaker, Bruce Houston. Northern Irishman from Ballymena. Did make a solitary pro appearance for Ulster against Leinster a few years ago. He's now working and playing in Edinburgh. From one end to the other, it's Heriot's opportunity to turn the screw, turn the tables on this Bulls pack. Man is controlling at the back. Still they trundle forwards.
Short, tackle, leave hands up.
Just short.
Let it come, hands up.
Screaming for it on the left-hand side.
Advantage.
Gelderbloom
Use.
asking the bruisers to protect him.
Offside.
Bulls are offside, another penalty coming. Should Heriots require it? Wilson's there. Instead, the pick and jam, inching ever closer.
Use.
Heriots eager to strike back. The Bulls defence holding firm for now. The sun beats down at Millbrae. Lovely set manoeuvre, and in goes Pecure. Beautiful handling from Heriots, and he hit back 3 minutes after falling behind. The 7 specialist, the lethal man on the wing, pounces for the visitors.
That's a brilliant score from Heriot. You can see the confidence they have in the ball handling ability. Those little tip-on passes, it was after a lot of hard work as well from the forwards up front, but it wasn't your classic pick and go. There was an extra pass, just shifting that target, even a foot or so every time. The Ayrshire Bulls defence was staunch initially, but an extra 2 or 3 quick passes in quick succession back inside to Pecure, who held his depth and was able to slice through, I think, from Houston's eventual pass back inside. Some really cute attack close to the line from Heriot, and it's rewarded a try.
Houston knocks over the extras.
Yeah, this is what I say.
Look at this here, Chris.
So you just look at the ball. There's that extra pass. There's another extra pass back inside from Bruce Houston to Pecure. Rather than that pick and go, they're setting up there. You think Ian Wilson's going to pick and go. He doesn't. He flicks it. Cammy Fenton gives another pass. And 2 passes after that, it's a try. It's so good to see that number of passes being executed close to the line. We don't often see that. We usually see the pick and go, but that's really good attack from Heriot.
66 appearances on the World 7 series for Scotland, Sam Pecure.
Yeah.
And we're back level again, 7 points apiece. 7.5 minutes played. It's been an entertaining start in southwest Scotland.
Backwards.
Gelderbloom has been disrupted at the base.
Hold.
Jones has to shovel the clearance away. This is Liam McNamara, the Australian. Captain McPherson on hand, a colossal figure, and he uses that bulk to great effect. Lyall toying with the defenders. To be a stray hand in there. Bulls have it back. It's a good barreling charge from Smeaton.
Advantage over.
McPherson again sits down another Heriot's man, and then it's just lost forwards. But already Blair McPherson, the skipper, leading from the front, using his 115 kilos plus.
Yeah, you can see the impact he makes with the ball in hand. That's the first one. Oh, that's the second one, isn't it? Just Sadak manages to hold on enough to dislodge the ball. It's a frustrating turnover that for Ayrshire Bulls actually, and I think Blair McPherson will be frustrated with that himself because they were going forward, they did have momentum. I thought they could have had a penalty in one of the tackles. I'm not sure if it's Fraser Hasty or Rudy Leishman went to make the tackle, but the ball was knocked on rather than knocked down, so it was a scrum advantage we were playing. But McPherson will be frustrated with that. He did the hard work, he just has to protect that ball.
Bind. Set. Hold.
There's a bit of space on the left-hand side for Heriot. Here. I think we're going to go quickly. We're going to go for a scrum again, are we?
Yeah. Free kick. Moving early.
Free kick.
Yeah. Not holding your weight on my sides. Stay behind.
This will be going up in there, Jamie, I think. There we go.
Yeah, Ayrshire. Oh. Deceptive from Bruce Houston. The sun is glaring into the eyes of the Ayrshire Bulls in this first half. McNamara sends it back from whence it came. Houston gets underneath it. Spots a gap which is swiftly closed by William Farker. Gelderbloom into man. He will be an ever-willing carrier tonight. Gelderbloom again impeded illegally at the base. Carry from Fraser Hasty. Gelderbloom, stutter step.
Forward.
A loose one to steal. But he did have a penalty up his sleeve.
Well, the first offence would be no clear release anyway.
Yeah, Rudy Campbell's just explaining to Blair McPherson that Edward Bloodworth can't play the 9. I think it's fairly obvious. I think Blair McPherson's maybe just trying to plant a seed out in the referee's mind, but it was fairly obvious. The ball wasn't lifted, the ball wasn't being played, and Bloodworth should just trust that. It's so easy early on in the season, first game, first 20 minutes, you're desperate to make an impact, but you got to hold that discipline. It was quite a cheap penalty to give away, and we saw what happened from the last attack that Heriot had close to the Ayrshire Bulls line.
The reason why the ball was slowed down was because the first player didn't release. Okay, that's your mark, can you stay there?
Second visit to the Ayrshire Bulls, 22 for Heriots. They certainly made the most of the first one. Cammy Fenton, former Edinburgh and Glasgow player. A long dart, well taken in by Ian Wilson at the tail.
Don't change free.
Trying to suck in some of those big Bulls forwards. Gelderbloom running short and hard with Steele, but he couldn't gather the pass. And it's seized upon by Gavin Wilson. McPherson shovels it away to Farker. Ayrshire Bulls trying to counter. Smeaton.
Tackle mate.
Cambridge Blue Archie Smeaton, Scotland age grade flanker.
Take him back in. Advantage over.
Is Hunt.
Hold. Okay, now.
And Ayrshire Bulls survive that little onslaught. Ian Wilson goes back. Dan King thinks he sees some space. There's this one bouncing. William Farker does really well to cover the loose head prop of all people. Could have been exposed but wasn't. Lanack, suspicions of a forward pass. McNamara dabs the grubber through. Ian Wilson covering really well. Ayrshire Bulls ransack Bruce Houston. And then they go off their feet. And Heriot survive.
Well, it's coming alive, isn't it? I think you're right about a hint of a forward pass up there, but it's great to see the attacking intent. Two really nice kicks actually from Liam McNamara. The first one was long, the second one was the outside of his boot, back in field. And ironically, they were both covered by Ian Wilson, the open side forward for Heriot. Great positioning on the first long kick to be back, to be that safety net. And then second one's just work rate, really good work rate from the open side to get back and clean up from the grubber kick from McNamara. You can see it quite often happens at this point in the season. Everybody's so eager to attack. Defence almost looks as if it's been forgotten a little bit about in the opening 10 minutes. The defence coaches will be more frustrated than attack coaches, that's quite good to see, to be honest.
It's been a feature of the Super 6 in the post-COVID era. A lot of ambition, a lot of attacking rugby, and here is Jack Mann swatting aside the Bulls defenders. Bobby Kay's on his shoulder, Mann swerves around the fullback, and Alex Maguire of all people is back there to make the tackle. Great lancing charge from the number 8. This is Leishman, the captain.
Tackle still made.
Rory Steele goes in to help. Houston probing that short side is King. Gelderbloom Carry from Ewan McLaren, the tight head prop. First chance for him to get hands on ball. Fenton. Again, the blue and white hoops of Heriot's punching holes in this Bulls rear guard. Houston, there's that inside ball to Pecure once more. It's working well for Gillis and Edwards' men. Steele gets the hands free, a little bit ambitious though. And Liam McNamara gobbles it up. And the chance for Heriot's goes a-begging. Rory Jackson, the former Glasgow Academy member. Lighthouse-like presence for the Bulls. And Hunt, unhurried, unflustered. And it's well kept in by Fraser Jones. He did so well to reach up and pat that infield. King.
Wait 12, wait 12!
Scudding diagonal. McNamara covering. 27's experience, Liam McNamara. He uses power rather than panache. Linac, dusty ball. Jackson takes it, but it did go forwards through the hands of Archie Smeaton. And it is Heriot who have the momentum right now.
Yeah, you can see the players are absolutely exhausted. It was a lung-busting piece of play. Started with that great break from Jack Mann. This is how it ended, just a poor pass, really. Smeaton can't pick up the passes. Poor from Bobby Beattie from the scrum. This is Jones keeping the ball in play. I think a few of his teammates would maybe have rather that went out. It's a lung-busting period of play, but it is Heriot's with the momentum at the moment. And I say Jack Mann broke the two tackles just outside his own 22, made it all the way to the opposite 22. And they look a threat with ball in hand, Heriot. We often say how attack-minded they are and how many quality tries Heriot score, but I think there'll be frustrations with the defence, especially from Ayrshire Bulls' point of view, but some brilliant attack from Heriot.
What a break this was from Jack Mann.
He's such a powerful
50 metres?
Yeah, I mean the first two tackles are fairly poor, but it's that footwork just to the outside edge. The second tackle as well. Hunt, he's not expecting the first tackle to be missed, but then Bobby Kay on his outside is working really hard to get up the support line. But as you say, as a hooker, Alex Maguire, who worked all the way back from the line out to make the all-important tackle. And off the back of that, the Ayrshire Bulls defence was much better. Jack Mann, as you say, missed a lot of the sprint series, but had a really good championship last year. Big ball carrier, plays more at 6 than 8, but equally adept at both. And you can see the power he brings, but he's a good hard-working soul. And there's Stuart Edwards and Finn Gillis. I think they'll be happy with the start, especially after going behind so early. They'll be happy with the last 12 minutes or so.
He's quick as well, Jack Mann.
He is. Played, certainly trained and been involved in the sevens environment as well. And there's Pat MacArthur looking on. Just looking at... sometimes I think coaches can get lost in the micro details. Sometimes you just have to let the game breathe, let it flow, and try and pick out your big points, especially when you're preparing your words at half-time. Players can only retain so much information. It's only 1 or 2 key points they can retain, and when you haven't been coaching for the last 2 or 3 months, you'll probably look for everything and analyse everything to the nth degree. Just pick the important points, and well, we'll see what happens. A long way from half-time, but that'll be the type of things that are going through the coaches' minds.
It's Gavin Wilson, incidentally, who's down receiving some treatment just now for Ayrshire Bulls. 22-year-old open side flanker. But so far, those who've turned out to savour this Super 6 opener will not have been disappointed. It's been an entertaining opening quarter of an hour or so. Plenty more action still to come. Plenty more tape, meanwhile, seems to be applied to the knee and the calf now of Gavin Wilson. A couple of rolls of duct tape later, he's patched up, he's good to go.
Time on.
It'll be Heriot to have the put into the scrum. And they've got a short side or a left-hand side that they could attack, or they can come open. Sam Pecure, who's looked dangerous, is parking himself in behind Bruce Houston, so he could be an option on that inside ball we spoke about. Robert Kay outside to hit a hard line, whereas Ayrshire Bulls' mentality is trying to disrupt the scrum, but from a back's perspective, they really have to be solid in defence. The last set piece they conceded a line break, they'll be looking to work together and make sure that they're dominant in defence.
It's a wonderful attacking platform, this, for Heriot's. Gelderbloom's pass, though, isn't the best, and Kay knocks it on at his bootlaces. And That is a disappointing passage of play for Finn Gillis and Stuart Edwards.
I think we built it up too much. Gelderblom's pass out in front of Houston and then dropped short of Bobby Kay.
It's a dead duck, that one.
That wasn't great. Easy done. Easily done. There's Bobby Kay. He's a real hard runner, great defender, Robert Kay. He's played a bit in the wing for Heriot as well in the past, but a really solid citizen in the midfield.
Crouch!
So it's as you were, only with a Bulls put in this time. They have an unexpected opportunity to restore the early lead. It's a massive scrum from the home pack. They really have demolished Heriots up front. McPherson with the rocket pass. McNamara opts for field position, but he had the penalty to play with. And another chance to eke out some field position.
That's a dominant scrum, wasn't it? William Farquhar on the left-hand side. You can see the concerted effort of the Ayrshire Bulls pack. They knew what they were going to do. They'd planned to do that. They'd planned to keep the ball there, apply some pressure, try and win that penalty. Exactly what they've done. Will Hunt's found it. Touch just in the 22. I think we might see a drive as well. I think the Ayrshire Bulls, maybe that injury break to Gavin Wilson, just took their time to say, listen, we need to get control back in this game. How do we do that? We trust our big pack. Scrum and line out, set piece, be accurate and just try and wrestle the control back.
Maguire's throw is picked off by Leishman. It's Heriot who are jamming a stick in the spokes of the Bulls line out, and Jack Mann makes more good headway.
Take it back in.
Wilson back to Houston.
Six.
Drops one on Elias Caven. Dangerous broken field runner. The opening try scorer goes to the skies instead. Dropping it on Gelderblom. Houston comes forward and absolutely minces his half-back partner.
No hands, no hands.
Gelderblom back to his feet to clear the ball away. Fraser Hasty battled back by Jackson in the tackle. Hands from McLaren. Sadak.
Leave now, Will, leave. Hands off, hands off.
King, who does play a lot of fly half, stepping in at first receiver. Kay.
On the shoulder.
Good footwork from the centre.
14 sides.
There was an infringement from the Bulls again. The penalty count just growing a little bit against the home side. That's their 5th in this opening 20 minutes or so.
Yeah, it's a frustrating one as well because the Ayrshire Bulls defence was much better. Great line-out steal from Heriot to defuse the situation, and then I think Ayrshire Bulls' frontline defence was excellent, but also their backfield. Houston put boot to ball, Caven covered it, and then once Caven kicked the ball back, Heriot had nowhere to go really. The Ayrshire Bulls' defence was going forward, it was in good shape, and then coming in at the side, conceding a penalty is a frustrating sight for the home side.
A potential high shot from Blair McPherson there, and then he compounded it by not rolling away.
Stay on your mark, please.
Fenton, who scored some important tries for Edinburgh in the Richard Cockrell era, helped them to the URC playoffs, but his throw is too heavy, and the Bulls come away on the counter.
Backwards.
That goes Bloodworth to rescue the loose ball.
Leave, wait. Inside.
Hunt under massive pressure. He's found a very good touch.
It was good under pressure, wasn't it? The pass kind of checked him a little bit, and he was under, you know, a kind of potential charge down, but he did well to get so much distance it almost landed in your lap, Jamie. I thought you could have taken that one.
Good throw from Fenton. Leishman gathers. Houston introduces Mann, and he's spearing through that Bulls midfield for the 3rd time. Gelderblom whips it away to Houston, challenging the gain line. Steele charging through, gets it into King, but good cover tackling. Jamie Shedden, who we've seen very little of with or without the ball, covering across well, cutting down Dan King.
You can see the width that Heriot's want to put in, but this is possible because of the yards they're making initially. And most of those yards are coming from Jack Mann, getting in behind that initial defence line from set piece. The delayed pass from Houston was excellent, put him into space, but he's so powerful with ball in hand, the big number 8. He's having a cracking start.
Some more.
That's a better set piece from the Bulls.
Out now, one.
And not a bad maul to follow it up either.
Go off your feet. Okay, that's 1-9.
Lyall. It's not a great kick. Landing on the heads of his forwards, none of whom have gone back the 10 metres.
Harris ball.
And Ayrshire Bulls perhaps fortunate they weren't gone for offside there.
Yeah, if you're in front of the ball or around the ball, you have to make an effort to, no, in front of the kick, you have to make an effort to retreat back to get out within a 10-metre radius where the ball is kicked. And Ayrshire Bulls players just stood there, so they're lucky to get away with that.
What have we got? Wait. Okay.
These past few minutes have been a little scrappy. And that theme continues as Gelderbloom juggles and then gets decked. Gelderbloom back to his feet into Ronan Sedak. He and his brother both won caps for Poland, eligible through their grandfather. Houston, big swooping ball out wide to Pecure, but it swooped a couple of degrees beyond the horizontal.
Yeah, you said it there, Jamie. It's been scrappy, hasn't it, since that break, maybe about 5 or 6 minutes ago. The game was in full flow, then that break came in. Some of the, there's a forward pass from Houston. I think Sedak actually maybe knocked it on in the tackle just before that as well. So it's just lost its energy a little bit. Some of the set piece, both teams have lost a couple of lineouts. Ayrshire Bulls scrum strong, I'm sure we'll see that again here. But the handling's dropped off a little bit, there's more errors. Players and the teams will just be looking to get some control back. And a lot of that will come from the set piece. Especially at the Ayrshire Bulls scrum.
Bind. Set. Reset. Whistle's gone. Whistle's gone. Reset. Yeah. 2 of you binds up, please. On the body, not shoulder. Keep an eye.
Just trying to get it stable. Scrum, Rory Campbell. If it is stable, I mean, there's a bit of space up that right-hand side for Blair McPherson if he does want to come off the bat. Sam Pecure, the left winger for Heriot, is sitting quite deep. So there's a bit of space quickly on the right-hand side ahead of Blair McPherson. I'll be up to Rory Leishman to cover that. He'll just to see this side of the scrum. Have a look and see if Blair McPherson looks up. He doesn't, but there is space to attack there.
Okay, 9.
It's been an area of real dominance for the Bulls, and away goes the captain McPherson, eating up the metres once again. And that good carry from Alex Maguire, the hooker. Quick ball for the Bulls. Jackson, Bobby Beattie, now Glendinning, very quick customer, gets the hands free to Caven, who sends K-All ends up. Brilliant running from McNamara. Wilson can't get him, and it's back inside to Beattie. That is a scorcher. Ayrshire Bulls, after a period of scrappiness, tear Heriots asunder. And Bobby Beattie, the former Glasgow Warrior, with his second touch of the move, dots down for the home side.
Brilliant score, so well executed. Started off that right-hand side with Blair McPherson going up. There's that extra pass here from Jackson, and from here Thomas Glendinning goes. He gets his hands free in the tackle because he wins the space. Caven, you thought he was going to finish off a lovely blind pass on his left-hand side to McNamara. Ian Wilson did well to get back, but he couldn't make the tackle stick. And McNamara finds Bobby Beattie supporting an inside. That's the important pass there. Once you're in behind the defence to keep it going. That's a beautiful pass from Caven, just drawing the defender. And then another offload, 3 in a row, perfectly timed, perfectly executed, and it's a cracking score from the home side.
Bobby Beattie's been around the block a few times these days. London Scottish, Ealing Trailfinders. Played on the 7 circuit for Scotland as well. A very useful player at Super 6 level. Now Will Hunt, who was superb with his first effort from wide on the left. This one a touch easier. And it's the same outcome. Lovely strike from Hunt. 14-7. That 7-point lead restored for the Ayrshire Bulls.
A really good score. As you say, just after that scrappy period, there's pieces of quality like that. Really good. Heriot will be disappointed to obviously concede, but they're working hard in that slide defence. It was just the options that the ball carrier had that meant that the attack could get in behind and get the hands moving, keep the ball quick. It was a good score.
Heriot's little mini spell of pressure has been quelled somewhat by that beaty score.
Take him back in.
To re-establish a foothold in this contest.
Wait!
As Hunt drills it long. Jack Mann in backfield. This is where he can be dangerous. 3 Bulls required to stop him. The offload just a bit wild. And Maguire brings it away. Parker.
No hands too, leave it. Advantage over.
Hunt.
50-22
50-22 is on here. It's well covered by King. And into the lengthening shadows, Dan King has sent Hunt chasing all the way back towards his own line.
Hold in front.
Not a bad riposte from the Bulls pivot. Houston. Now Rory Steele. Seen glimpses of him in an attacking sense. And he spots space behind the line of chasers. Brilliant chip and gather from Steele. That puts the Bulls on the back foot. Gelderblom dancing. Now they go through Keane. King. Now Pecure. Charging up the blind side was Leishman. Got the inside ball free as well. And Pecure's in for a double. 2 fabulous tries in 3 second-half minutes. And this game combusts into life once more. Pecure's second of the night.
Yeah, go on.
It's more of the same, isn't it? It's another fantastic attacking try. So many quality pieces of handling, so much pace onto the ball, and it's really well finished again by Pecure. I think that was it Leishman with the final offload when it must have been so close to touching was excellent, but because Heriot can shift the point of attack, they can keep the ball moving. It's really hard for Ayrshire Bulls to get a fixed point to defend from. Some excellent attack. It came from that kind of speculative chip as well from Rory Steele. It's sometimes difficult or sometimes dangerous to chip, but it was perfectly executed. Got the ball back, and that allowed Heriot to get on the front foot, to get momentum, and then they just executed it from there.
Houston then from straight in front to tie things up once more. And again, in the blink of an eye, in the flash of Sam Pecure's boots, Heriots are level.
Well, here's the chip and chase. You go see Steele scanning for space, and he knows it's in behind. I think actually that space was made because 2 or 3 kicks prior to that had been long. Maybe the Ayrshire Bulls were worried about that backfield being covered for the 50-22. Gelderblom initially went right, then went left. King with a long pass. Pecure then passes it and gets his second. But this is offload there from Leishman. It's perfect. And Pecure skips through for his second try into the post. Yeah, some wonderful handling on show. Telling as well, perhaps, that it's the 2 sevens guys, Beattie and Pecure, who've both had double touches in their tries. Used to getting the ball, chasing their passes, getting on it again. Here's McPherson. Caven coming in off his wing. Clung on to manfully by Jack Mann.
He's out the way, he's out the way.
Lanack didn't buy the penalty off the prone man. Houston
Hold.
drills it down the jam lines. This will force Liam McNamara to go all the way back. He's not going to go dead. McNamara inside to Hunt. That's not his best kick, just drags it to the left. And that is a big yardage gain for Heriots.
Yeah, it was a good kick from Bruce Houston, wasn't it? Tight to the touchline, managed to kick it right up the 5-metre channel.
Yeah.
And because of the relatively new law about the goal line dropout, McNamara played it back inside to Will Hunt rather than just dotting it down for what would have been a 22 in the old days. There's now a goal line dropout. Forces Ayrshire Bulls to play, and it wasn't one of Winterhut's best to the touch.
No, hold. You change your mind, we hold. You change your mind, we stop. Okay, Toddy, when you're ready.
It's an awkward line out from Heriots. Nobody seemed to know what the plan was there. And to compound things, the throw from Fenton was squint.
Yeah, This is a call-in error there, or no, perhaps not a call-in error, just a communication error. Not sure what the call was, and the thrower, the lifters and the jumpers are probably all expecting different things rather than really confirming what it was and sticking to it. Again, really common early season. What is important for Heriot is their next line, and that's what they'll be saying there, just as about setting of this scrum. What happened? Did you not understand? Did you not listen? Or did you forget? Let's get it right for the next one.
Busy crowd inside Millbrae for this FOSROC Super 6 curtain raiser. The beer flowing, atmosphere fizzing. And this one delicately poised as we enter the final 10 minutes of the first half. Another mighty Bull scrum. Rory Campbell not seeing any infringement.
Too much movement at the start and then it's just going forward. I'm going to stand on the other side. Move over here.
I think Ayrshire Bulls were expecting a penalty there, but Rory Campbell didn't see a penalty defence, just thought it spun round too much. William Farquhar is, well, he seems to be really quite dominant, quite powerful, very effective in that #1 loose head prop position for Ayrshire Bulls. And that's the side that Rory Campbell's gone over to now, the referee, to keep an eye on it. And you can see the clear tactic really from Ayrshire Bulls to keep that ball in, to try and apply the pressure. They feel as if they've got momentum, and it looks like they've got momentum in the scrum. So they're looking for that penalty.
Both Bulls props have won Scotland honours at club international level. And they have got Heriots on toast again here. This time Rory Campbell does reward the dominance. Lanack gives Cavan a glimmer of space, and that is all Elias Cavan needs. Look at the pace and the footwork of Cavan. Just brought down by Gelderbloom's tap. Maguire sees space, introduces Bloodworth. Lanack, Hunt, mighty cross-field diagonal, well fielded by Sam Pecure, and the advantage had run its course. And there's space for Pecure to exploit here, and that is clever work from the two-try man.
Yeah, good kick, well covered actually, because the space was there for Will Hunt to find, but the ball hanging there just a little bit too long, allowing Pecure to get back, mark it, and then quick as a flash, quick thinking, quick execution, gets the ball up towards the Ayrshire Bulls 10-metre line. But you see the threat of Cavan as well, just how quickly he's into his run, how powerful he is. We said it before, he obviously scored the first try this evening, but he just really has an attacking ability to beat the first man almost every time, even under pressure like he was there.
Jackson collects for the Bulls. Hunt, McPherson again braces his barrel-like chest with an even bigger forearm. Hunt, Glendinning, McNamara shovels it onto Cavan. It takes two men to shackle him, but shackle him, Heriots do. And it's Bobby Kay who puts him into touch.
Yeah, good hunt from the inside from Bobby Kay, helping Fraser Jones in the right wing. Not a lot of space there, but really good from Robert Kay. Elias Cavan says he's let go of the ball, but judged to be in touch.
You mentioned Kay's defensive skills earlier, Chris. He's had a big help to his wingers on either side as Leishman taps it back after a fashion. Houston to Mann. Asks the 22-year-old to win some space. Houston this time goes high, giving Elias Cavan plenty of counter-attacking opportunities. He had forwards in front of him there, but he opted to kick. Houston, again, blasting it down onto McNamara. Will Hunt and Lanack with him. McNamara gives it straight back to Gelderbloom. Shackles the Heriot scrum half. Heriots keep it alive. Sadak. Tackle from McPherson. Leishman took it on a bit further.
Still in.
Heriots on the prowl for their third try. Spent a fair bit of time in this Ayrshire real estate. McLaren out the back to Houston. Now perhaps a chance for Steele. Well, the kick ricochets awkwardly. Steele has to go back and gather under massive pressure from Gavin Wilson.
Leave now, leave.
Gelderbloom, hasty, bulkier of the two scrum cap clad second rows. And he's drawn a penalty for a high shot. Kay, steal. Houston just about gathered. And Rory Campbell is going to bring them back, nothing coming.
Yeah, again, just a high tackle slipped up on it was Fraser Hastie, wasn't it?
High tackle.
I think it was perhaps Edward Bloodworth with a tackle, but nothing more than just a penalty. Again, frustrating for Ayrshire Bulls because the defence looks a bit more solid there, forcing Heriot to look for answers. And it's quite a soft penalty giveaway, and Bruce Houston, interestingly, is going to have a pop a goal. That's a halfway line. He's popped the ball on. He's got a little bit of an angle as well. So
I didn't get a number, sorry.
It's
just a seatbelt
long way out.
Nothing more. Was it you? Yeah. Nothing more.
It was Calvin. There was a sort of discussion there between the referee and Calvin Henderson. I think it was Calvin Henderson just putting his hand up saying, listen, that was me. The high tackle just slipped up. Exactly as Rory Campbell saying, listen, I don't know who it was, but it was a penalty and no more. So nice communication between the two.
Don't often see such good-natured relations between a tight head prop and a referee, do you?
Pure honesty there. I like it. Early season.
I hope Peter Wright's not watching this.
Early season stuff. He's maybe just getting him on his good side for the next scrum, you know.
Well, Bruce Houston has got the driver out here. A good 50 metres or so. It's now a still night in Ayrshire, barely a breath of wind. Houston has given that a mighty lick. What a strike from Houston. That is a cracker. Heriot's lead for the first time. And that is a morale-boosting thump given to them by Bruce Houston.
It's an excellent kick. It's end of range. Watch this. His eyes on the ball. He fully extends right through to the target. Really important. As you say, the first time that Heriot have been ahead, and you felt as if they needed something for the amount of pressure they've had. They had to try and get ahead for the amount of pressure they've had in this first half. Just 2 or 3 minutes before half-time. A really important kick from Houston.
Leave him now. He's through the middle, first contact. That's
Fenton hopefully takes the chance to run at his opposite number.
It's outside. Use.
And Gelderbloom uses the rump of Sadak for protection. McPherson backpedals, offers himself for McNamara. Here goes the skipper. Textbook chop tackle from Bobby Kay, and it's stolen on the deck by Mann. Heriot's ball. Gelderbloom, well, you could see what he was trying to do. The kick to the corner was on. Got right underneath it. And then Fenton has guddled that on the deck. Brilliant work, though, from Jack Mann over that ball.
It was really good. And actually, the initial box kick was good from Gelderbloom, but there was 4 Ayrshire Bulls players back, Blair McPherson and the entire back 3. And they'll be frustrated that they actually turned that ball over. A brilliant tackle from Bobby Kay, and then Jack Mann, quick as a flash over. So the kick chase managed to get to the ball quicker than the 4 players in the backfield for Ayrshire Bulls. These are the little things, little bits of detail that the coaches will look at, get frustrated by in a defensive point of view, but really inspired by an attacking point of view. Classic low tackle, second man in, and not only flopped over the ball, man, but actually won it back.
Crouch. Bind. Set.
Final minute of the first half. Last opportunity, perhaps, for either team to take a lead in at the break.
Both of you. Strong arms on the outside. You need to move along? Yeah, okay. Come here. There's a mark.
Well, just having a bit of a look around it. Ayrshire Bulls scrum half is just trying to see where the backfield players are positioned and if there's any opportunity close to the breakdown. I think there'll be another dominant scrum from here.
Well, it's Heriot to get the push on this time. And they win the penalty too. What a psychological fillip for the Heriot's pack.
Well, I was wrong. That's the first dominant scrum for Heriot. Ayrshire Bulls have looked so comfortable in there. Is it a lack of concentration? We'll have another look here. It was stepping up. They were penalised for. I think, you know, that Heriot just got really low target. Chris Keane on this side, you see number 1 working really hard, getting low, especially Cammy Fenton, and he's driving through. And this is an important kick for Houston. He obviously kicked one from slightly further back just a few moments ago, so he's got the range. It'll be a big psychological swing before half-time, not only to go ahead, but to stretch that lead to 6 points.
Well, this will be the final act, the first 40 minutes of the season. Houston nailed one from a good 7 or 8 metres further back just a couple of minutes ago. This would give Heriot a 6-point lead at the interval. A reverential hush falls over Millbrae once more. It's Houston from distance again. This time it fades just wide. No dice, second time for Bruce Houston. But it is his penalty that separates the sides at the interval. An entertaining back and forth first half of the FOSROC Super 6 season at Millbrae. At halftime it is Ayrshire Bulls 14, Heriot's Rugby 17.
Welcome back to Millbrae for the opening game of the FOSROC Super6 Championship, where it is Ayrshire Bulls 14, Heriot's Rugby 17, and Chris Paterson has come down from the gantry, not too far away, it's not too far to get to. What an enjoyable opening really 40 minutes though.
Really enjoyable. 3, I know we'll have a look at them, fantastic tries. Well, 4 tries in total, but 3 that are really out the top drawer, really good attacking play. Some defensive issues a little bit, and I think Heriot probably deserved the lead. It's been an even game. There's been certainly things to work on, but I think Heriot had more of the dominance, more of the control that probably just underlines the 3-point narrow lead at half time.
You know, I can imagine if you're an Ayrshire Bulls supporter and you're thinking, day one of the season, let's get down Friday night, the sun is shining, it's the perfect atmosphere for the opening game, and then they go and score an opening try in, what was it, 2 minutes on the clock. It's the perfect start. It was
an actually initially a pretty good box kick from Gelderbloem, the scrum half, and Heriot gave away the penalty, so Jack Mann gave a penalty, who's been outstanding, but he gave the penalty away, which resulted in the penalty going to the corner. Then within 2 minutes, Ayrshire Bulls get the perfect start at home. They score, the ball tried to be kept in initially by Houston, and then from the scrum, a dominant scrum, and it's been dominant most of the time from Ayrshire Bulls. They shift the ball to Cavan, a proven try scorer who manages to fight himself over.
He certainly is, but the frustration from Heriot's point of view be that they'd almost saved the line out a slight slip.
It's a big moment, wasn't it? I mean, it's worth doing that because you're trying to keep the ball in, because you don't want to concede a line out just metres from your own line. But it's such a massive swing for a small part of the game, really. It was an aggressive kick to touch, but by keeping it in and then knocking it on, you actually reward Ayrshire Bulls for a poor skill effort initially with that scrum that they scored off. So it's worthwhile trying to keep it in, but just unfortunate that it led to a scrum for the Ayrshire Bulls and so close to their own line.
But if Finn Gillies and Stuart Edwards are looking for a response, boy did they get it.
Quickly as well. I mean, at both times when Ayrshire Bulls have scored, Heriot have hit back really, really quickly. And I said before, there was 3 fantastic scores this evening, 4 tries at 3 absolutely out of the top drawer. Some of the handling and what was good about the try that Sam Pecure scored was a number of touches and short passes close to the line. So often we see short close to the line, just pick and go. There's no ambition to play. Defences want to come off the line and hit you, but here you see short passes time and time again, finding the extra man, getting 3 passes away within 2 metres of the line is excellent. An issue maybe defensively, they want to get him, shut that down, but keeping the ball alive, keeping it quick, and Pecure crosses for his first of the evening.
It's those lovely soft hands by Bruce Houston.
Yeah, under pressure as well, because he took the ball, I think from Gelderbloem, wasn't it, just out the back, and he's only got a fraction of a second to get that away. But having numbers around the ball and making these passes short, it gets you out of jail sometimes. If that pass isn't there, Bruce Houston gets hit behind the gain line and the ball potentially is turned over. So really good score from him. And you can see Heriot's DNA and how they like to attack at the forefront under their new coaching as well.
It's almost that classic match day one of the season, because we've seen bits of brilliance when you can tell the players have been itching to get their boots back on, get the ball in hand, but at the same time it's been a little scrappy at times, and it went through that spell sort of midway through the first half until, boy, did the Ayrshire Bulls hit with a stunning score, which was the third of the game.
Yeah, Bobby Beattie finishing off, and you're right, there was an injury to Gavin Wilson, I think. It was just some strapping on his knee, but it took the momentum out of the game, and then from a scrum attack, it was brilliant. Blair McPherson went up the right hand side. It deliberately chose that right hand side, and then the handling, the support play, the no-look pass from Cavan to McNamara. McNamara keeping it alive under pressure from Ian Wilson, who's worked really hard in the back for Heriot to get over, but Bobby Beattie eventually scores. So that is top drawer attack. We've spoken about defence not being great there. I think Heriot's defend reasonably well. They're just beaten by a better attack, and the try gets scored for Ayrshire Bulls, but not soon after that, Heriot's hit back again.
Well, I mean, just before that, to touch on Elias Cavan, because he seems to have been involved in all the really dangerous opportunities that the Ayrshire Bulls have presented.
Well, we were talking before the game about potential players to pick out, and we spoke about Jack Mann for Heriot, who's been outstanding, and we spoke about Elias Cavan because he continually makes wow moments in games, whether it's chasing kicks, whether it's scoring tries or fielding kicks and evasion. He really is a box of tricks. He's powerful.
in the outside channel, but he's a skillful player as well, so he's definitely one to watch.
Dueling as the strength and conditioning coach as well. Man of
doubling
many
up,
talents.
doubling up.
But it's a night for left wingers, isn't it? Because, as you say, following the same trick as the opening try, Heriot's hit straight back, Sam Pecure again.
Yeah, within a couple of minutes of scoring. And that's where I think Heriot's have maybe deserved the lead, because they've hit back quickly, and Ayrshire Bulls haven't had that consistency being ahead for long. But Pecure scores again. This was after a bit of kick tennis or kicking back and forward. We eventually freed down the left-hand side. Pecure finish off a brilliant offload from Rory Hamilton before that. Gelderbloom looks to go right, and at that point thought the momentum was lost, but a couple of good passes. King fires it out to Pecure, who then gets that second touch. And watch this from Leishman back inside. And again, the defence is having to work really hard from the inside, so it's on the slide. So any extra little passes beating the defence. But Heriot did well to fight back, because it was such a good try moments before, and they get one of their own a moment later.
Wingers are all about their try count, aren't they? What a way to start the season.
But it's great. It's great to see. So often we see a lot of kind of rugby caught in that physical brutality of fighting for every inch, which is an important part of the game, don't get me wrong. But when you see handling and skill execution at pace, it's a joy to watch. And we've seen a lot of physicality as well. Blair McPherson, Jack Mann, to jump out in terms of physicality. The big scrum, the big Ayrshire Bulls scrum as well. So it's got elements of all the core elements of all the game, and we've only had 40 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. And there's been areas where the Bulls have been on top, areas where Heriots have been on top. It's been tight though overall, and it was going to take something special to separate them. We'll have a look at the high tackle that leads to the penalty first.
Yeah.
But when the strike comes, it's an absolutely wonderful.
It's 50 plus
effort.
metres, isn't it? It's not a malicious high tackle. It's Calvin Henderson just riding up on that tackle there, and that is over 50 metres. That's the halfway line he's kicking in front of, but it's on a decent angle, and he extends his right leg right through it. He's probably got another 2 or 3 metres in him as well, Bruce Houston. But that, obviously made Heriot's put Heriot's ahead for the first time. But an excellent piece of play. Dead calm, no wind, but it's still a 50-odd metre kick when you're fatigued just before half time.
I mean, because you've been there and done
not
that
as far as that
on the biggest stage. But what would you now, as a coach, what are you saying to a kicker at that stage of the game? Do you settle the breathing? Do you concentrate on technique?
Yeah, you do. You have to kind of separate your goal kicking from the rest of your game. It has to be treated separately. You have to calm the nerves and slow down. But when you're kicking from distance, you just have to get the strike right. Don't try and kick it any harder. Don't try and run it any quicker. Just really precisely focus on the point you're kicking and drive your leg through and your body through to the target. And that was an important kick, wasn't it? Just before half time, it puts you ahead for the first time. Bruce Houston missed one just moments after that would have given him a 6-point cushion, but he's played well in the number 10 or the number 24 jersey in the number 10 position as well. So it's poised for the second half. I hope we see some more attacking rugby. I get the feeling some of the coaches might want it a little bit tighter, but we'll see what the second half brings.
It is indeed poised. We're keeping you busy, but you can have a short break now, because Chris will be going back up to the commentary position to join Jamie for the second half of Ayrshire Bulls against Heriot's Rugby. That's next.
Welcome back, everyone. The stage set once more. The players have rejoined us at Millbrae as the sun begins to set in Alloway. And we are all ready to go for the decisive half of this FOSROC Super 6 season opener. It is Heriot with that slender lead to get us underway with Bruce Houston. And then a rasping kick from Bobby Beattie. It sails out and gives Heriot good attacking field position. A few changes to tell you about at the break as well. Pat MacArthur has removed his entire front row. William Farquhar, Alex Maguire, Calvin Henderson, all off. Andrew Nimmo, Michael Scott, and well-known face in these parts, James Malcolm, the former Warriors hooker. All come on. Looking for more ballast in that front row. Here's Pecure, who's on a hat-trick. McPherson cuts him down. Gelderbloom into Keane. Former Gala prop Christine.
No hands, player.
Houston introducing Kay. Sedak gathers on the far sides, and then a high shot going in.
Slow it. Slow it. Time's off.
A little bit of afters here, Chris, but perhaps more concerningly for Ayrshire Bulls, I make that penalty number 8 in just over a half of rugby.
Yeah, I want to say that it's almost a common thing you hear commentators and coaches and players, ex-players saying that the target is less than 10 in the game and 8 in the first half. This is a tip tackle potentially there. It's Thomas Glendinning and Elias Caven both. And yeah, and the Heriot players take a little look at that. It is Thomas Glendinning who's shown the yellow card. Is over the horizontal, but he actually did lay him down. He took him down to the ground. Is it? I think it's maybe Fraser. Was it Fraser Hasty? I think he was tipped up. So because he wasn't dropped and he was placed back down, I think that's why it's yellow. He certainly was over the horizontal on both Glendinning and Caven involved, but it's Glendinning who's going to take 10 minutes in the bin.
Bye Bye Baby is the choice from the stadium DJ here at Millbrae.
The home team
fan.
The home team stadium DJ.
Please.
Yeah, unfortunate, but definitely the right call from Rory Campbell. So Thomas Glendinning will spend the next 10 minutes on that beautifully patterned naughty step. And Heriot's can apply some pressure. The line-out that has been a bit shaky works this time. And Jack Mann.
That's one's going sideways.
Patrolling at the back.
White collapsed.
Gelderbloom has to go digging. Rory Steele running out to win. Another penalty advantage for Heriot. This is Ian Wilson, the old-timer.
Advantage number 8 collapse.
Gelderbloom has to check, has to go himself. Finds McLaren charging deep into Bulls territory. Gelderbloom, Houston, King juggles and can't take. And I'm sure, were it not for the penalty advantage, Jordan Lanack would have gone the length.
Number 8 collapsing at the maul.
Yeah, collapsing maul. It was a well-executed line at maul, actually, when Heriot really was moving towards it. The Ayrshire Bulls line pretty quickly, and it stopped pretty quickly towards the ground, so it was a clear penalty offence. I think it was number 8, he said. Blaine McPherson pulling down. And it's an interesting call here for Heriot. It looks like they're going to kick to the corner again. Bruce Houston just looking for confirmation, I think. And if they can get their line out execution, as I said moments ago, take it, get it down and get it driving like they did last time, they're going to be pretty close to the try line. Well, both lineouts have been good and bad in the first half, if that makes sense. One or two poor ones, but one or two excellent top of the jump execution stuff.
6 metres out, and Fenton, lovely parabola to Ian Wilson. Trying to set up the drive through Leishman. Bulls sack it well. 15 men of Heriot's against the 14-strong Bulls. Will be desperate to make that numerical advantage tell.
Use it.
Hasty goes in at scrum half. Sedak alongside him. Two locks combining.
Hold. Use.
Chris Keane is next to scoop it on. Jack Mann is in there too, twisting and turning. Just a couple of metres short now.
Hands behind.
Hasty again is going into play 9. Now Gelderbloom. Bobby Kay bustling forward under the posts. Just held short. Gelderbloom, Houston, dummies, spins.
Tackle!
Again, the Bulls do enough. For how much longer can this Ayrshire Bulls defence hold? Big hit goes in from Smeaton. Gelderbloom, Keane. The dam is holding for now. Can Heriot breach it? They continue to keep it tight. Now Gelderbloom, Houston, one-on-one. Good tackle. There's Bloodworth with the hits. Gavin Wilson goes in to try and pinch. Hasty has a crack at the line. Gelderbloom, Jack Mann. Could he be the force that's required? Still the answer's no. Still the phases might. Well into double figures now. Sadak. Just short. Dug out by Wilson. Hasty's in there again. Ewan McLaren, the biggest man in the Heriot's team. Fenton goes in. It's loose for Gelderbloom. Houston, Steele straightens. Big double hit. Sandwiched by two Bulls. Gelderbloom for Ian Wilson. They've been shunted a good 5 or 6 metres backwards. Hasty. Still Heriot's retained possession. Still they pound at this Ayrshire Bulls door. Not any longer. Rory Steele loses it and the Ayrshire Bulls survive. And that is a massive defensive set from the hosts.
Lost now, wait. Lost. Hold Heriot.
That feels like a very significant moment for the Bulls.
Vantage over.
Lanack hacks it away and buys his team a few metres of breathing space.
Yeah, undoubtedly the best piece of defence on show so far this evening. Excellent stuff from Ayrshire Bulls. I thought Heriot could probably put a little bit more width on the ball, maybe moved it a little bit wider due to the Glendinning Sinbin and being in that midfield area for the Bulls, but everything they threw at the Bulls they defended, not only defended but drove back, and Heriot found themselves getting further and further away from the try line, running out of numbers and eventually getting the ball turned over.
Stuart Edwards and Finn Gillis go to the bench for the first time. Ewan McLaren and Fraser Jones off. Dan Gamble, the Edinburgh prop, comes on at tight heads, and Niall Godsmark, another experienced Scotland Sevens cap on the right wing. More professional pedigree added to the Heriot's team. And they're going straight down
broken away.
through this Ayrshire Bulls pack. It's Jack Mann fighting to within a few metres of the whitewash.
Hold.
Oh, that was just not forward by Sadak. It looked like he'd scooped that up cleanly, but there was the merest hint of a fumble. It was Hasty, in fact.
Time off, we got blood.
And Rory Campbell will bring things to a pause.
Oh, it's unlucky, isn't it? Just to try and balls diving at his feet, just to try and pick it up, but again we saw Jack Mann driving through the Ayrshire Bulls defence, so hard to break, to pull down. It's powerful, and Heriot are playing in the right area of the field. It's obviously eating up the clock as well from an Ayrshire Bulls point of view. But they don't want to be so close to the line when they're down to 14 men. James Malcolm getting a little bit of treatment.
He's been away for a couple of years, James Malcolm. 2 seasons with the Seattle Seawolves in America's Professional R League. Likes of Adam Ash and Glenn Bryce have been out there representing Scotland in recent seasons. Dougie Fife as well. James Malcolm with a thumping welcome back to Scottish rugby.
This is Ian Wilson. This is at the end of the defensive effort from Ayrshire Bulls. Just at this point they were just driving Heriot's back. At one point they were right on top of the line, and you can see just that Ayrshire Bulls defence being in position, coming forward, making a tackle. It's Nemo with a tackle that time, but they were in position much earlier because they were going forward rather than scrambling to get into position. They could get set, they could come forward and put a dominant challenge in, but they're still in their own 22. They do have the put into this scrum as well, but it's hard when you're outside centres in the sin bin, because your kick chase, if Ayrshire Bulls do want to kick here, your kick chase is
is compromised by one of your main chasers. So they have to, Ayrshire Bulls, if they do put boot to ball, they'll probably look to get it off the field, or if they do keep it on the field, they'll have to be organised in their kick chase. In converse to that, Heriot, if the ball is kept in the field, they've got a really good opportunity. They'll know that. They'll target the seam where Thomas Glendinning would be that crucial chaser, and if somebody fills his position, there'll be a lot of space in behind to kick. So this will be the type of conversations that the players are having on the field at the moment, especially the backs. The forwards won't. They'll just be bending in and pushing, look at them, desperate to get into another scrum. But these are the type of conversations that have to take place off the ball when you're getting ready to attack or defend.
Yeah, this is, of course, eating into the Glendinning sin bin period, roughly half of which has now been served.
Okay, 9.
Heriot's holding much firmer in the scrummage. Blair McPherson breaks away well, finds Beattie. It's awkward for Lyall. It's knocked forward off a Heriot's hand.
Hands behind.
McPherson.
Off now, 5.
Lyall once more asking his forwards to
Away.
create a little bit of space, more of an angle.
Vantage over.
And Hunt dispatches that clearance downfield. It's another assured punt from the fly half.
Yeah, good kick, good clearance kick. Because he's got it off the field, he's got enough distance up to the 10-metre line. You see Thomas Glendinning there just sitting in the naughty step. But because he's there, that's more important for Ayrshire Bulls to get off the field. Another scrappy line out, but Heriots have won it.
Gelderbloom at the second attempt. Unleashes Jack Mann.
On the shoulder.
Referee happy that wasn't a high shot from McPherson on his opposite number. Houston kicking behind. Elias Caven goes back and covers, and he is bursting away on his own. Squat, low centre of gravity. And there has to be a penalty there. Jordan Lyall not just taken out, but taken halfway to Kilmarnock with that hit.
Just Houston taking the risk with a chip, but look at Caven again. He's so powerful, so quickly into his running. He's made 10 yards before anybody notices, and I think it's James Malcolm that's taken out this time by Steele. Off his feet, driving through, taking the player in the scrum half position out. That's a good outcome for Ayrshire Bulls. A frustrating penalty for Heriot to give away, but a good outcome from the kick as well for the Bulls to be able to launch. Assume a drive in the opposition 22.
Well, it's Rory Jackson, the towering figure, who claims the ball for the Bulls. And James Malcolm tucks it under an arm and helps the black and purple hoop jerseys squeeze a penalty from this Heriot's pack. A free shot for the Bulls. Hunt, Caven on his shoulder. Instead he went really wide to McNamara. One-on-one against Pecure. McNamara dragged down by Sam Pecure. Lyall, Heriot's offside.
No.
And nothing coming there.
We go back for the penalty. Number 7 collapsing.
Them all collapsing.
Okay,
I think is it Ian Wilson who's been penalised. I think Rory Leishman had a hand round the side as well as Thomas Glendinning comes back onto the field for Ayrshire Bulls. That was a clever call that to maul for Ayrshire Bulls, and actually got it moving reasonably well. The backs play was cute off it as well, but I think if Will Hunt has another look at that, he'll see that Caven was just on his shoulder. That short pass was probably a better option than the longer one out to McNamara.
Okay. What are you going for?
Another McNamara has joined us in Bulls ranks. Lewis, this time no relation to Liam. Northern Irish lock come flanker. A very abrasive customer. He's on for Gavin Wilson. And Thomas Glendinning in shot there, back from his 10 minutes in the bin. And crucially, Ayrshire Bulls did not concede while they were down to 14. And now they have themselves a fine opportunity to retake that lead. Jackson gathers.
No.
Guess what's coming here? It's the maul, it's the drive, and it's the try. That is what the Ayrshire Bulls are all about. A veritable stampede of Millbrae hooves. And it looks like James Malcolm reintroduces himself to Scottish rugby with his team's 3rd try of the night.
It's so dynamic, wasn't it? The maul, the throw was good, the catch from Rory Jackson was perfect, and as soon as he hit the ground, the maul just took off. Look at this for execution, down, and as quick as he's in, as quick as he's down, everybody's in behind. James Malcolm's got control of that ball. Like, it's a little bit static there, but that's because they know that the line and James Malcolm can finish off. That's an excellent execution of, example of perfect execution. There's not time for Heriot to engage in that because they can't go early. If they take somebody out of the ball or hit early, they'll be penalised. They have to wait until the player hits the ground. But as soon as Rory Jackson hit the ground, James Malcolm and everybody else is in behind. It's a really good score from the Bulls.
Will Hunt then to extend this Bulls lead. Got right underneath that one, and it struck the post. Unlucky for Hunt. 2 points the difference. Just over 25 minutes remaining. And Heriots have sent for more reinforcements with Michael Linus coming on at hooker. And Ross Jones, a very capable back 3-man, coming on at fullback as well.
Yeah, a bit of experience coming off the bench for Heriots there. 2 players who've been around, who've had success with Heriots, and I'm looking to make an impact.
Oh, Lanac bobbing and weaving. He was kicking it into his own players. He had a meaty colleague in the shape of Michael Scott to help out. That was Smeaton on the carry. Played alongside Wallaby in a Springbok in the varsity match a couple of years ago down at Cambridge. Good defence from Heriots. Not going to get the choke tackle and the maul decision. Smeaton once more.
Okay. Chris, leave him. Off him.
This time Lanac has time and space to clear. First touch for Ross Jones, the Welshman. Man is back there lurking. Brought down by Bloodworth and by Beattie.
Everyone ball, leave it now.
Don't want to let him get some momentum.
On the ball, please.
Houston. Fully steals after this. It's comfortable enough for Liam McNamara. He has got a very handy left boot himself. Houston on it again. Spiral bomb from the Northern Irishman. This will die on the Bulls chasers. Lanac takes it well. Hunt. Territorial jousting right now. Trying to find the chink in the armour. Trying to exploit an unguarded patch of Millbrae turf. Lanac. Bit of a lethargic kick chase from Heriots. The ball's been in play for a long while in this set of phases. Bulls have it back. Jackson.
Still rock, still rock.
Very slow ball. Lanac gets it away. Scott couldn't hold it. Jack Mann has it back.
Lost on advantage.
Free play for Heriots. Kay, Ian Wilson, caught by Glendinning. Big clear out coming in, but not big enough. And Heriots will have to settle for the scrum.
Cheers.
Yeah, it's getting cagey, isn't it? That kick tennis up, kick battle there. Nobody really wanted to commit to the counter-attack. There was a lot of good kicking in it. Accurate kicking for distance. And you just, when you receive those kicks, you're looking for that little chink of light, that opportunity to try and attack and a counter-attack, find a little bit of space. But the kick chases, although they were quite lethargic, were reasonably solid. Lanac risked it, and sometimes if it's not on and your 9 takes it, he's the playmaker, he's the one who makes the decision. So if he's at the bottom of the ruck, if he's carried, somebody else has to step up, and that then meant that, well, it didn't mean, but it kind of pointed to Ayrshire Bulls then picking and going and getting caught in that third. And Harris defence managed to shut him down, win the turnover.
That was Ryan Sweeney in the front left of your picture there, supping away at his pints, one of the Bulls stalwarts of the title charge, not available for selection tonight. The abrasive blindside flanker. It'll be a big boost when he is back in the mix for Pat MacArthur, there he is in the black hoodie with the big red X marks the spot. What will Pat MacArthur be thinking right now, Chris? 20 minutes or so to seal an opening day win.
He's looking pretty relaxed, having a laugh and a giggle. Gavin Wilson. I think just what we saw there was, I actually heard the call coming from, I don't know if it was Pat MacArthur or one of the replacements, just shouting patience in that kick chase. It's almost as if they didn't want to risk anything. They wanted to try and, you know, put the pressure back onto Heriot, and I think that's what the messages will be. They'll say, listen, we're the home team, let's not force anything. At the moment we're ahead, look to get some field positions and try and force Heriot, who are probably the team looking for form more than Ayrshire Bulls. If you look at the last 2 or 3 months, obviously this is the first game of the championship, but the sprint series. So if you don't try and force it, if you always put the pressure back onto Heriot, there's more chance that they'll maybe throw a dodgy offload or a risk. So I think he'll be looking for his team to be dominant in set piece and get the ball down the other end of the field.
Super 6 debut for the rat tail number 20 on the left of your shots. Joey Britton come through at Nottingham Trent University. A new signing for Heriots. He's come on for Fraser Hastie, which means Rory Leishman will move from the blindside flank into second row. And Britton will take up his position on the blindside flank.
Crouch.
So the fluids consumed,
Set.
the energy levels restored.
Free kick.
Heriots have a free kick at this scrummage.
Number 3 not holding weight. Step forward from you.
I think they're a wee bit unfortunate there. I think Chris Keane was struggling just to get his balance, and it looked as if Ayrshire Bulls had committed something they really hadn't. I think Michael Scott was, we'll get another look at it anyway. We've opted for another scrum. I think he was in a good position, Michael Scott, and I think Chris Keane was just trying to find his position, causing the instability at the scrum. Well, we'll have another look here.
Come on, boy! Seconds!
Crouch. Binds. Set. Number.
Another Heriots penalty.
Elbow down.
And those scrum offences
That's the call that's coming that side.
were all being committed by Heriots in the first half.
I'm going to stand on that side.
Are now dribbling out of the Ayrshire Bulls.
Sorry, can you say that again?
Well, there's a conversation again between Blair McPherson, the captain, and referee. Michael Scott's coming over now to have a word with the referee.
Said has dropped his elbow and it's gone straight down. Not on your side.
This one, obviously just looking for some clarity. There's Michael Scott. He was in a good position both times there. He maybe feels a little bit hard done by, but he's perfectly, entitled to ask for clarity from Rory Campbell. But the upshot is it's another opportunity for Bruce Houston. 45 metres out this time to put Heriot back in front.
He's 1 from 2 from this distance so far. Nailed the penalty that gave Heriots the half-time lead, and then missed one from this kind of range. A couple of metres shorter than the one he got. But this would snatch back the lead into Heriot's hands. Houston's drilled that, but he's pulled it as well. Well wide of the targets. And the Bulls don't want the dropout, they want to play. McNamara slaloming up to the 22.
Didn't pick up the ball.
Heriots came very close to pinching that. James Malcolm, the try scorer. Sister Rachel, captain of the Scotland women's team. Will be at the World Cup later this year. Hunt with a fabulous clearance kick, and Jones caught it with his foot on the touchline. And that will mean Ayrshire Bulls have the throw into the lineouts. That is a howitzer from Hunt, I beg your pardon.
Yeah, his heels are on almost his try line, wasn't it? Perfect execution. Ross Jones is all that he can, but we'll have another look. His toes just there. It is there. That's a touch on the try line just behind him. An excellent kick, and Ross Jones' toes just hit the white line as he catches it there. That's a big gain for the Ayrshire Bulls.
Smeaton with the take. Linac, Hunt, McPherson. trademark thundering charge from the captain. Lyall again. Hunt introducing Shedden, who hasn't seen a lot of action. At the back from Nimmo. Hunt. The flat ball. Shoveled on again. BT. Rory Jackson stretching his big legs. And now it's Malcolm. Ayrshire Bulls screaming for a late tackle on Jackson. Still they come.
Tackle! Off 6.
Wave after purple wave.
Off 2, release.
Into the 22 go the Bulls. Malcolm gets another touch.
No hands.
Heriots go off their feet. They don't concede the penalty. BT tries to cut between two defenders. Lyall slams it off Budworth, but it went backwards. And they can reload and try again.
Use.
Jackson gets another carry.
Off.
Malcolm is in there again too. Busy customer off the bench, James Malcolm. Scott takes it on further.
Use.
Barreling charge from the former Heriots prop.
Stay up, stay on your feet. Leave it, no hands.
Lyall has to wait an age to get that out. Good footwork from Jackson. Heriots just cling on to the second row. Lyall. Smeaton. Here, billowing in his wake. Here, everywhere, Archie Smeaton. This is McPherson. It feels like it's coming. It feels like it's inevitable.
Shot. No hands.
Lewis McNamara.
Advantage. Play advantage.
They've got another penalty. And Rory Campbell awards it.
Got this form.
Well, Ayrshire Bulls have just got the bit between their teeth at the moment, having that almost every one of those carries makes a lot of yards. James Malcolm must have carried 4 or 5 occasions. Rory Jackson using his footwork as well, just find a little bit like Blair. McPherson is always bludgeoning his way forward.
Guys, if you all scream at the same time, I don't hear anything.
And I wonder what decision is here.
Time's off.
The time's off, but there's James Malcolm. He must have carried about 4 times, at least in that,
Right, guys, time's off.
passage of play.
Time's off. Time's off.
If there's an injury. Yeah, there's an injury on the try line. One of the Heriots players is needing some treatment.
Lads, time's off.
Bruce Houston, it looks like. I just wonder what the decision for Ayrshire Bulls will be here. They've got the bit between their teeth, they've got the momentum. Do they kick the goal, or do they try and use that momentum from the line out of the scrum, or the tap and go? We'll see.
Heriots don't really have an out-and-out 10 on the bench either.
I think Ross Jones would probably cover, wouldn't he? Just on at fullback, sat on the bench. You could probably
Step up.
I think.
He's desperate, isn't he?
If it was me, I would kick the penalty here. I think when games are so tight,
Wait for the sub to come on and then
I
we'll
would probably kick that penalty, although Ayrshire Bulls look as if they're hanging around the forwards there, wanting a bit of the action. Bruce Houston is coming off. Rory Steele is going to see if he's
Joey
okay.
Britton, who's wearing 21, who's heading on. It says Super 6. Sorry, Kyle Brown.
Kyle
I beg your
Brown,
pardon. Joey
yeah.
Britton is already on. Kyle Brown is coming on for
Yeah.
his Super 6 debut. He is a centre by trade.
Yeah.
But that's a blow for Heriots to lose someone so influential. The Bulls are off and running again.
off him. Advantage.
They can smell Heriot's blood. They have yet another penalty advantage. They're using their brawn, their Ayrshire muscle. Glendinning, little Pfeiffer. Another meaty carry, another metre gobbled up. McPherson just held by Sadak. He's almost fallen over the try line.
Hands behind.
It is as close as the Bulls could wish for. Malcolm goes again. Rory Campbell says held up.
Time off.
Come back for a penalty.
Number 6.
Rory Campbell is going to his pocket again. Repeated infringements, and it's the captain, Rory Leishman.
Yeah, it was immediately from the first play, wasn't it? The tap and go. It's a penalty conceded right away, and then the Heriots defence was excellent. Dan Gamble with a really powerful tackle on Thomas Glendinning as he was going towards the line. Archie Smeaton once or twice got really close to Rory again.
Here they go, the Bulls not hanging around. Another tap penalty. Once again, they go into the guts of Heriot's. And they are held up again. It's tremendous last-ditch defence from Heriot's. They're creaking, but they're keeping the Bulls at bay.
Held up, yeah. Okay, held up for us.
Rory Campbell just confirming with Michael Todd on the far side touchline that it was held up, and that means it's a goal line dropout rather than a scrum 5 under the new laws.
Yeah, excellent defence by Heriot. I actually think, I'm not sure who the ball carrier was, but Kenny got stuck on his back with the line there, just twisted in the presentation. But this is an opportunity for Ayrshire Bulls against 14 players.
Here they go, Bobby Beattie, loads of sevens experience. A try already to his name tonight, the pick of the bunch, you'd have to say. This is Nimmo charging forward. Hunt, Scott, he takes some stopping. He takes some serious stopping. Fantastic carry from Michael Scott.
Leave it, no, he changed it. Unplayable. No. Hold them all. Can't then have two players diving on it from both sides. We take the scrum.
It will be an Ayrshire Bulls scrum.
Unplayable, scrum.
It was a maul, but after the player had been crumbled to ground. A couple of players leapt on the ball. I think Rory Campbell just explaining he couldn't reward those who jumped on afterwards. It's an interesting stance from Rory Leishman down beneath us.
He's having a chat with the Heriot's players just on the bench there, just behind them. He can't join them obviously because he has to sit in the sin bin. I think he's frustrated not to be out there helping his teammates, but Ayrshire Bulls have got all the momentum, all the pressure at the moment, but they can't break through that Heriot's defence. Again, here's an opportunity from scrum.
Ayrshire Bulls have the free kick. They might fancy another go at the scrum here.
Can he have to get a real grip on this scrum? It seems the trouble seems to be prior to the scrum rather than the scrum itself. It seems to be the setup. They're looking for a balanced setup, a stable setup before you engage, which is important. But that should be quite easy to fix. You should be able to get in a correct position before the set call. So they really have to manage that properly and then get a decent scrum thereafter.
Crouch.
There's too much movement before the set. That looks better.
Set.
Very high on the left-hand side.
Stay up, stay up.
Heriots. Depleted Heriots are creaking again.
Straight on the
Rory
mark.
Campbell just wants this reset. Not seeing any illegalities in there.
You put the ball when you're steady. Okay, props on this side. Staying straight and staying square from the start.
Yeah, you need that stability before the scrum. Josh Scott's pretty high as well. Heriot. Loose head to get that set lower, get in a good position before the engagement.
Crouch.
We go again.
Bind.
12 minutes of this match remaining. It is hanging in the balance. The pendulum, the momentum though, swinging towards the Bulls. So is Rory Campbell's left arm. Penalty advantage. Lunac, Caven. Brilliant tackle from Godsmark. It's Caven round the ankles. Malcolm has another shot.
Hands behind.
7 or so metres out.
Tackle. Release.
Seems Malcolm has been everywhere today. Lunac, McPherson, bumping off one.
Leave it.
Heriots want the penalty. They're not going to get it. And we're going to have to go back for that scrum infringement.
It's really good defence from Heriot. You must say that. I think Ayrshire Bulls can be a wee bit more ambitious in the attack, though.
What are we going for?
Their first pass is really quite narrow. It's given Heriot an opportunity to be in there, to stick in the tackle, to try and slow the possession down. If they make that a little bit wider or even get 2 passes, it forces more defenders to get around the corner to reset.
Take the water break now.
Brave stuff from Heriot.
Water break.
Go back for another penalty at the scrum, wasn't it? In that same position.
Stand up.
I mean, this is about the third or fourth penalty in this position, but I still think they should consider the kick at goal. They're only 2 points ahead. It's something that seems to have gone out of the game, that kind of accumulating points.
Do we need to talk about the third test in Argentina?
Well, that was a big talking point, wasn't it? And was it 31-27 in Scotland and Argentina? And I mean, the decision to go to the corner, I think, resulted in Johnny Gray being held up or twisted his back. So it was pretty close, but maybe it's because I was a goal kicker. I often like just to get the feel of the game, and especially when teams have momentum, or you feel here as if Heriot's won a penalty here, it'd be a massive swing in momentum if you could hold out. Now, alternatively, I get the kind of the idea that if Ayr eventually score, it's a 7 points, a 7-point score. But as a goal kicker, I think if you can edge your team ahead, you should probably take them. Looks like we're going to change again. Two Ayrshire Bulls have taken 2 tap and goes, quick penalty, tap penalties this time and go to the line out. So there's not a real consistency in how they're trying to approach it, and that sometimes is an award for Hert's defence. They can say to each other, listen, we've held them out, we can held them out again. The last line out in here was pretty effective from Ayrshire Bulls though.
We've had scrums, we've had tap penalties. Now Ayrshire Bulls prepare to launch the line outs. They've thrown the kitchen sink at Heriots. Heriots have stood firm, but they will stand no longer. It's Malcolm again. It's another malevolent maul from the Ayrshire Bulls, and they trample Heriots into the Millbrae dirt.
Well, it's a bonus point try as well, isn't it? And that's maybe another thing that was into their thinking. Well executed again, good throw, and then that set up there is in a really good position. Now they're just waiting until everybody's happy before the power comes on. Heriots try and spin it, try and shear it, but too much control, too much composure from James Malcolm at the back. As soon as that twist comes, they've got to drive straight through. There's the twist from Heriots. There's a combined mass of Ayrshire Bulls, and in the end it's easy for Malcolm to drive right through and get his second try.
Yep, bonus point secured. And Will Hunt can make it a 2-score game with 10 minutes remaining. It's a big kick this for Hunt, former Scotland age-grade internationalist. It's his first taste of Super 6 rugby with the Bulls. Two from 3 tonight so far. That's better from Hunt. The flags go up. 26-17. 2 scores required from Heriots to pull this from the fire.
Yeah, that's I suppose the reason why you opt to keep it down there and go for the try. I'm surprised Ayrshire Bulls didn't go to the line out earlier, because they have been successful there. And that's a good take by Shedden as well. Now Ayrshire Bulls will try and manage the game. They'll try and kick for distance. They'll get the kick chase right as far away from their own goal line as possible, and force Heriot to force the game.
3 minutes left of Rory Leishman's sin-binning periods. Heriots have shipped a crucial try in that spell. Jack Mann not making the yardage he did in the first half, not making any yardage at all. The Bulls hold up the young number 8. They create them all. They win the scrum. And the tables have been turned.
Ed Budworth's getting excited in there, isn't he? Sometimes it's a bit too much, that. He's getting overexcited. I know your passion runs high, but, well, sometimes you have to keep a lid on it. Jack Mann's been outstanding, and it's sometimes a fill-up for Jack Mann. It takes 4 of you to hold him up, so he just got caught too high. There's Rory Leishman just waiting to get back on.
They'll tell, no, number 4, tell them.
Yeah, so he's still, it must be the last play, I think, before Leishman returns. So there's an opportunity again for Ayrshire Bulls against the 14 men.
2 minutes left in a sin-binning period. Sean Johnston's about to come on for Heriot in the second row as well, another massive man. But at the moment they're still down to 14. They're still on the defensive. Lyall, dummies right, goes left. Beattie, Hunt on the runarounds. Bobby Kay came flying up to shut down his options. Caven stamps it down the tram lines. Godsmark's in trouble there. It's Rory Steele.
Tackle. No hands, no hands. Leave him, leave him.
Bulls making life very awkward for 14-man Heriots. Ian Wilson
Never on the
goes in
ball.
to help Man.
Yes.
Gelderbloom has little option but to kick it high. Lewis McNamara has it back. Bobby Beattie scurrying down that touchline. The inside ball was on for Caven. Beattie couldn't find him. Massive clear out coming in to secure the ball for the Bulls.
Tackle.
Another score here would kill the game. Lyall, Scott. Sadak hauls him
That's your
down.
own player.
Lyall again, asking the big men to perform the bludgeoning that has served the Ayrshire Bulls so well in this competition. Smeaton takes on the mantle. Lyall again. Powerful carry, this time Lewis McNamara in the van. Smeaton gets another touch, makes another metre or two. Lyall, round the corner they go. Lyall goes himself. Right in the shadow of the Heriot's posts. The visitors are on the ropes right now, but they have come up with a massive turnover. There's Michael Linus, I think, over ball.
Yeah, he was in as quick as a flash, wasn't it? From that pick and go. Brave Heriot's defence again, really important to win that turnover because you can see the power that Ayrshire Bulls are bringing. It's that, I think that power that's really been the difference in the second half. Just being able to play off 9. I think they could play a little bit wider at times. They can be a bit more expansive, but that power's got them back at the game and got them ahead in the game and got control of the game. Smeaton coming to the fore now with the ball in hand. James Malcolm making a massive impact in the second half as well. Michael Scott carried hard too, so there's that power they've had in the second half. Ayrshire Bulls, it's laid the platform.
You might be on the young ones. You might be on the young ones. Come on. You happy? Okay, yeah, come on.
Last few changes for Heriot. Sean Johnston coming on for Ronan Sadak in that second row, and Rory Leishman returning from his costly 10-minute spell in the bin. Heriots will play out the final throws of this match with the full complement. 5 minutes to play. The win perhaps beyond them, but a losing bonus points they will feel is the very least they deserve from this contest.
On the line. Keep your gap, yeah. 1 metre.
Well, Chris, time is ticking away. We'll also wait for this line out. Who has caught your eye tonight? Who is the FOSROC Super 6 player of the match?
Well, I think it's there's been some terrific performances. Jack Mann in the first, obviously. Elias Caven's looked really sharp. James Malcolm's made a massive impact off the bench, but the Ayrshire Bulls number 8 and captain Blair McPherson is tonight's FOSROC player of the match. So powerful, with ball in hand, a big leader, and he's guided side with what looks like an opening night victory.
McNamara, Glendinning, who has got serious wheels. Doesn't get a chance to spin those too much at the dying embers. Caven in at scrum half. Hunt, flat ball for James Malcolm.
That one.
The hunt for a hat-trick, James Malcolm.
Don't pin on it, don't pin him down. You just did.
Lyall, Mrs. McPherson. Caven at first receiver. Beattie to Glendinning, but there was a little forward pass in there. Well spotted by Rory Campbell. Heriots will have the scrum.
Well, there's the FOSROC player of the match, Blair McPherson. He just brings so much to the Ayrshire Bulls back in terms of his ability. Even when they're on the front foot or they're on the back foot, he just gives them stability. He's carried so well. He's got in behind the advantage line, and Caven's been so sharp in the wing. As I mentioned, James Malcolm with 2 tries in quick succession and a massive work rate and a big impact. But Blair McPherson just has a natural way about him. You say for Heriot's, Jack Mann obviously been really well. But it's the captain and the leader from Ayrshire Bulls that comes out on top this evening.
Crouch! Binds! Set!
Can Heriot snatch something at the death? Losing bonus point within their grasp. Kay. Flat ball to Rory Steele, but it wasn't flats. It was forwards. And it's an opportunity spurned. First phase possession squandered.
Yeah, just drift forward. It actually didn't look forward for where we were, but the beauty of the replay, you can see it just drifted forward. Better defence from the midfield this time from Ayrshire Bulls. Solid position.
9, you good. Come on, let's go.
And they'll just try and Ayrshire Bulls just take all the sting out of the match now. And only a couple of minutes remaining. Pat MacArthur looks like he's got his side off to a winning start again. They're formidable at home, the Ayrshire Bulls. We'll be concerned with 1 or 2 elements in the first half, but as I said, I think the second half was kind of shifted towards their favour just by that bulk they have up front. Good scrum, those 2 driving maul lineouts are really well executed. Heriot's defence has been excellent at points in the second half, but just had no answer to that maul.
Heading for their 4th win in a row against Heriot's, the Ayrshire Bulls. Undefeated against them in
I got it. Cheers.
the Sprint Series and also in last season's championship itself, en route to that title. But a good record against the visitors from Golden Acre. Only Watsonians, in fact, have won here in the past couple of seasons. Ayrshire Bulls have made this a very, very tough, uncompromising venue. Linac scoops it out, 90 seconds of the game remaining. And they will look to squeeze Heriots into the corner. Godsmark and Steele back there under massive pressure. Rory Steele's done himself a mischief in the collision. Johnston, first touch, the big English second row. Going to have to run it from deep. Ross Jones to Pecure. Glendinning all over him like a rash. He cuffs it up. Beattie gathers. Beattie scores. Game, set and match, Ayrshire Bulls. Heriots had to force their hand, and Beattie feasts on their mistake and puts the final nail in Heriot's coffin.
Yeah, Bobby Beattie just profiting from excellent defence on Thomas Glendinning. Heriots have to chance it on, they have to go for it. I see Thomas Glendinning knows that he gets up, he stays in the fight, he stays in the tackle, the ball pops free, and Bobby Beattie's first to pick up and dot it down. Heriots are chasing that extra try that would give him a bonus point. A good defence from Glendinning, who's a physical presence in the midfield, and his centre partner just picks up the loose change and dots down for his second try.
Yeah, a double for Bobby Beattie. 2 very well taken tries. The former are more spectacular than the latter. But that is the kind of finishing acumen and predatory instincts he brings as the crowd begins to file out of Millbrae. The substitutes and reserves shaking hands in the stand beneath us. And Will Hunt will scribe the final chapter in this match. Hunt then to burnish his own impressive personal record from the tee tonight on his Super 6 debut. And true to form, it's a fine kick from Hunt, and it's a fitting end to proceedings for the Ayrshire Bulls. The champions begin their title defence in near perfect fashion. They were made to work by the Heriots team of Edwards and Gillis, but in the end, Millbrae's fortress-like status is preserved. A bonus point victory, 5 tries in the bag for Ayrshire Bulls, and 5 points on the log as well. Full time at Millbrae, Ayrshire Bulls 33, Heriot's Rugby 17.
Well, welcome back to Millbrae, where the Ayrshire Bulls have won the opening game of the season. Delighted to say I'm joined by Blair McPherson, captain of the Ayrshire Bulls. Congratulations, Blair. That looked like a game that you had to dig pretty deep. I can see you're breathing heavily.
Yeah, I mean, I think we made it pretty difficult for ourselves in the first half. We let Heriot, really dictate the way the game was played. A lot of kicking that was playing into their hands, and we got caught out quite a few times. But we spoke a lot at half-time about, taking control of the game and playing at our pace and, really taking them on up front. And I think that obviously paid off in the second half. I felt we were pretty comfortable and dominant in the second half, and to get a try late on there to make it a lot better was, to finish off the game was excellent.
Is that a real sign of the character of that side? Because going into that second half and you went down a man, you really had to hold on your line. You didn't concede a try. Up at the other end, when they were down to 14, yep. They did.
I mean, we speak a lot about being confident in our line and having a lot of discipline in that area, and at times we did slip up, but testament to the boys, we put in a good fight in our own defensive line there and held them out, and And I think it's just about pride in the jersey. Obviously the target's on our back after winning last year, so it's a good first out, and Heriot's made it very difficult for us in the first half, but glad we came out the other end on top.
There's a couple of scintillating scores in the first half. I think we were 2 minutes into the game. What a start to the new season.
Yeah, I know. It was nice to get one early for us, but the pressure was put straight back on. So, it's an exciting league, and Heriot's are a great team. We've had a few great battles over the years, so hopefully it will continue for the rest of the season.
As you say, the scoreline looks pretty healthy in the end. Coming off the bench, we've talked about it already during this game, the signing of James Malcolm. What an impact can he make?
Yeah, it's great having Malky back. He played here years ago, and he brings so much experience to the team, and when he came off the bench, you definitely felt his presence on the pitch, and yeah, it's just great having him back here at Millbrae.
How much are you looking forward then to next week away at Watsonians? That is some fixture.
Yeah, I think we've got a lot to prove. We've kind of slipped up against them over the past few years, so hopefully we can go there and give them a good game and come out on the better side.
Is there that feeling of a target on your backs? Do you like that?
I think we always kind of have that target on our back here. We're fortunate to have done quite well over the years, pre-Super6 as well, so I think we're used to it, and we also relish it. Everyone's coming here to beat us, so it kind of makes us front up and play a lot better, I think.
Well, Ed Bloodworth has been standing next to you the whole time, ready to pass over the FOSROC Super6 Player of the Match award, so if you can do the honours, Ed.
Thanks very much.
Well, congratulations, boys. Well done, Ed and Blair. Well done for that. And please join us after the break, where we'll be getting into the thick of the analysis. And joining us will be Pat MacArthur, the Ayrshire Bulls head coach.
Cheers. Thank you.
Well, welcome back to Millbrae, where the Ayrshire Bulls have beaten Heriot's Rugby in the opening game of the FOSROC Super6 Championship. And I'm delighted to say we're joined by a very happy head coach of the Ayrshire Bulls. Pat, back in the hot seat. You must be loving every minute of it.
Trying to describe it as a good 80 minutes of anxiety every week. But no, look, we had an honest discussion at half-time, mainly about our discipline. And I think the boys came out and they put it in practice. They defended really well without getting over-eager. That's a big thing. Just hold that discipline back, which means a good defensive set. You can then get the ball back. Whether in the first half, I think 7 times, turnover, penalty, it just made it tough for us.
Was that a game where you really had to show your character, dig deep in that second half? I had, those opening exchanges. You're down to 14 men. You're probably looking at Heriot's being favourites to win the game at that stage. Yeah. Look, they had an opportunity, and I think we ended up with no points of difference, or maybe Heriot's won with 3 points in that. So it was a big exchange, and that's what I'm saying. We had a defensive set here, and you can see the boys really going for it. And we're trying to pride ourselves on our defence. Gave away a soft try in the first half, which wasn't really what we're about. But as you say, 4-week pre-season, we're starting to progress, and it'll start to get a DNA of how we want to play and who we are. You pride yourself on some scintillating tries as well. It was some start to the season.
Oh, without doubt. I mean, we had some outstanding mauls, if that's what you mean by scintillating tries. Mixed up with, look, we had a couple of good wide plays as well, Chris, we talked about.
Yeah, the tries in the first half were fantastic, but I suppose for you, a hooker up front, those 2 maul tries, when they were really needing that second half. The first one, the throw was excellent, the execution was excellent, but it was set so quickly. Heriot really struggled to deal with that. James Malcolm's first one, it was an excellent piece of play, and then you spent a bit of time up there. Did you consider kicking the goal when you were 2 points up?
To be honest, no. I think they were down to 14 men, and if you're in that situation, you've got to look at it. It might be a reasonable outcome for them if we went for goal with the numbers as they were. And I felt like we had a good set. We have a good set piece, so trust in the boys. I think we played a little bit too much, and as you said, there was opportunity maybe opened up wide. So we just got to look at a variation in that final zone.
And next week, Watsonians away from home, isn't it? Because you've built a bit of a fortress here, really strong at home. Watsonians look strong in the pre-season stuff. Obviously won the sprint series. That'll be a big challenge on the road next week.
Without doubt. I think that let the boys enjoy tonight. Let the boys enjoy a few beers, and then on Monday we're back to work, and it will be a challenge. They're a good team, but one that we are looking forward to.
What are the areas of the game that you're looking to take from tonight into that game? It'll obviously be a very different opponent.
I think big thing for us, discipline. Right, we control discipline, we control turnovers, and look after that ball, we're in a good place. I think that when it gets a bit loose and a bit lax, then that isn't what we want to do. So if we do that, we have really good attackers in the back, and we have a decent set piece. So if we just control what we're doing, we're in a good play.
Chris just touched on him there, but James Malcolm, former hooker, a man that you'll know well from your time at Glasgow.
Yeah.
What a great impact, 2 tries off the bench.
I think, 100%. If you look what we did, we had a full front row change at half-time, and that shows you the strength and depth.
Was that planned?
Yeah, it wasn't discussed with the boys, but in my head it was planned. Yeah. I think our first front row had a real dominance in the scrum and really put a lot of effort in there, and then we have such a good backup there, bring these boys on, and they pick up the physicality and that. So I was really impressed with how all 6 of our front row did.
Well, Pat, congratulations, 5 tries, 5 points. Perfect start to the season. Well done. You can now go and celebrate with your team. Well done.
Thank you.
Well, let's have a look at the analysis from this evening, and we'll start with the first try from the second half, Chris. And well,
this was the one I was on. Sorry, it's done so quickly. Excellent throw, excellent take from Rory Jackson. It was, and then James Malcolm. There's the impact that Pat talks about, but it was just the speed that was done. It's quite often you see those maul tries taking a long time to get set up, giving the defence an opportunity to get a hand in, slide through the maul, but it was done so quickly and so accurately that the best of maul defences would really struggle to stop that, because it was so quick, so dynamic.
That was such a big moment, because Thomas Glendinning up the other end had been carded. Heriot's didn't manage to take advantage of it, but when the Ayrshire Bulls had the extra man, they certainly did take advantage.
They did. It took them a while. That's why I asked Pat there about, did you consider a kick a goal? I think there was maybe 4 penalties. 1, they took a scrum. 2, the tap and go, and then they eventually went back to the trusted line out and kicked to the corner and got that. Well, fourth try. It was that bonus point try. So it took patience, it took good execution, and that's all, valuable for Pat and for the team to know what to do in what situations. I thought Heriot's defended bravely, and again, Pat touching it there, he thought maybe they could have made that pass a little bit wider, attacked just not a wide attack, not attacking the wing or the centre, just a little bit further away from 9. That would have put Heriot under more pressure. But you can see how composed Pat is. He doesn't tend to enjoy it. You could see him smiling in the camera, but he's got a really good rapport with his players. I think he's got a hard edge with them, but he'll take that period of defence that you talk about as a real vindication for what he said at half-time about getting the defence and the discipline right, and then going up and scoring those 2 tries.
It's a sign of a really good team that game was on a knife edge, and really in the end it wasn't close. For try 3 or try 4 rather,
yeah.
Do you read the same as try 3?
Yeah, it was. It wasn't quite as dynamic, but they'd worked really hard for this. They'd worn Heriot's down. Heriot's, just had given so much that they were empty, and that there, which when it shears and spins, that's where the control element. The first one was all about dynamism and power and speed. This had to be built a little bit better from Ayrshire Bulls' point of view. There, Heriot's trying to put a bit of pressure on, but there's no panic. There's composure at the back of that maul from James Malcolm with his hands on the ball, and even there it's under control, and Heriot's just sheer off to the side. Ayrshire Bulls can drive straight through and underline the victory and pick up the bonus point with that try as well.
Was it you that picked out James Malcolm as the signing of the summer on the podcast, or was it his sister?
I've actually already had a text from his sister saying, why didn't you pick him for man of the match? He was a candidate, a big impact, not only because he scored 2 tries, but the fact that he was involved, he was busy, the scrum was excellent, the line, it was good, but there was 2 or 3 phases where he carried 3 or 4 times in one play, and Pat's right to point to the depth they've got in that front row. Maguire put a huge amount of work in the first half. James is a great signing with a lot of experience, and he showed that right away in the first game this evening.
Pat will love that, seeing new signings coming, and I thought the conversion added by William Hunt as well. He had a great game at 10.
He did. He kicked really well at goal and out of hand, Will Hunt, and he distributed pretty well. He brought Blair McPherson, time and time again into the game from line-out plays. He didn't do a lot on the ball. He just delivered it and distributed it really well, but some of his clearance kicking under pressure in that second half managed to get Ayrshire Bulls out of their own third. They struggled to get out their own third in the first half, really, Ayrshire Bulls. He's probably won the kicking game in the early exchanges, but Will Hunt did really well, and there's more options in that midfield as well. And
really the icing on the cake was for Bobby Beattie getting his second of the game, fifth for Ayrshire Bulls.
Wasn't quite as spectacular as his first, but it's the same value, isn't it? Good read from Thomas Glendon, and we said that he knows that Heriots have to chance that, and they have to go for something. He gets up high in the defensive line, gets outside. Was it Sam Pecure, isn't it? Just to shut off that pass and then force the ball free, and Bobby Beattie picks up and dots down. We said in commentary, he's been at Glasgow, he's been professional, he's been London Scottish, he's been the Sevens. He's a really good player who worked hard defensively, especially in that second half, Bobby Beattie, but also managed to pick up 2 tries in the opening night.
People would have expected the Ayrshire Bulls to win tonight, but you still have to get it done. Does it set down a marker?
I think it does, but especially at home. But Heriot's, I thought, played really well in that first half. You saw the the brilliance they have with some of the tries they scored. I think they just lost out the bulk in the second half. It was power, it was bulk that just went against them, and that control came from Ayr, who are an experienced side. But Ayrshire Bulls won last year, as we keep saying, and they'll be a threat absolutely this season again. Well, the reigning champions victorious on the opening night, and let's have a look at how that affects the table. It's the perfect start for the Ayrshire Bulls. 5 points for them. Heriot's propping up the bottom. But there's 2 matches in the FOSROC Super6 Championship tomorrow afternoon. Stirling Wolves host Boroughmuir Bears in Edinburgh at 2 p.m. And Watsonians Rugby are the visitors to Southern Knights at 4:30 p.m. You can watch those matches live on the Scottish Rugby website. Well, the round 2 fixtures next Friday night, it's the Southern Knights against the Boroughmuir Bears, while the Ayrshire Bulls head to Watsonians in a mouth-watering clash, while the losers tonight, Heriot's Rugby, take on the Stirling Wolves.
Well, that's all for us tonight. Tomorrow, just remember there, quick reminder, Stirling Wolves versus Boroughmuir Bears at Bridge Hall. Watsonians face Southern Knights at the Green Yards. But what a fantastic start it's been to the FOSROC Super 6 Championship. Reigning champions Ayrshire Bulls, victorious on the opening night. 5 tries, 5 points. The perfect start for Pat MacArthur. Thanks a lot to Chris Paterson for all his input. We hope you enjoyed it. Goodbye for now.